the question is, how do I
No.
maintain that? Yeah,
Yeah.
and know when I'm just doing Siu Nim Tao at my home in Canada,
Yeah.
like without anyone applying force.
Yeah,
'Cause
man, this is
how would I know if I'm doing it right or I'm
Yeah.
actually moving my muscles?
this is a number one question everyone asks,
Yeah, okay.
and I used to ask myself that back in the day, and the best answer I can give is you have to test it even if you don't have a partner. That's why I say don't just stand. Standing, if you're just standing and your feedback, force feedback, pressure test is only done by your teacher or your training partner, it's very easy, like as teachers, it's very easy to go, okay, you're not doing it right, you're doing something like this, and then I say a few things, okay, elbow forward, bring your elbow, oh yeah, that's it, you know, and then I change my force a little bit because you do something that I say and I change my force and you come forward, so then you're like, yeah, but how do I replicate that, you know? So whereas if you're touching, you know, you're playing with a dummy, you're even without a partner, you need a partner, but even without a partner, punching, kicking, you know, as you're punching, if you're punching, you know, as you're punching, so that you shouldn't be thinking about how hard to punch. You should be thinking about like what joint is locking up. You know, what is there any kind of lean? Is that, you know? So you can start. There's all these exercises that you can do by yourself that gives you feedback of what's going on. In terms of knowing in Siu Nim Tao, the simplest and the most honest answer is there's no way you're going to know until you can feel it. So right now, the only feedback, when you know, like the only feedback mechanism that you know of is muscular. Like when you try to feel your body. That's why when we tell people feel your spine, most people either think about their spine, right? What does that mean, think about the spine? It means, yeah, like you've seen a skeleton before, you've seen a picture of a skeleton before, and you know where the spine is because you've touched people's spine. When you hug someone, you know, you can sort of feel when you get backache. So all of these are memories, right? So your knowledge is all based on memory and all of that, right? So, and all of this is happening in a split second when you're trying to think about your spine. Okay. So you know, in relation to this, your spine's somewhere in the middle. In relation to that pain you had, it's somewhere there. But you're not actually feeling your spine, just thinking about it. Some people do that. The other ones, they tense. So they go to get a real feeling of feedback of where the spine is. They tense their back or they physically lift, and they get a muscular. The muscular tension gives you feedback straight away, and then they use that feeling, which is both not where you want to be. You want to relax everything and actually feel your skeletal system, actually feel the spine, actually feel the joints, right? But then, I mean, I can say this, but then still, if you go, okay, I want to actually feel my, and how can you? Yeah, you start thinking about what it is again, and it's a loop, right? Yeah. That's why it takes hours of practice. It takes a lot of time. Well, it does. It takes a lot of hours to actually be able to first go through the process of not thinking, feeling. And what do you feel? What's there? Wow, I feel either numbness because the muscles are so tense, there's lack of connection, or I feel density because the muscles are so tight and they're, you know, like to move my shoulder, it just feels like one big block area rather than from a point inside. Then you go through that, you realize that that's the reality of your body and the feedback, and okay, less effort, and slowly you'll start to really tangibly feel for yourself. When you say relax, something starts to release. I felt that. That was real. You can, you know, I mean, no one has to tell you there, that's relaxed, that's not. It's your body, it's your mind. You'll be able to feel it yourself. And once you find that, even if it's just the first few layers of relaxation you feel, you'll get addicted because you're like, what if I could go further? What if I could do it here? What if I could get it holistically, you know? And then you start to really train with exploration or curiosity rather than a chore of, okay, I should do it because I love Wing Chun and Qigong was good, so I should do it. No. Then you start, okay, it becomes like a video game. How, you know, what's the next level I can go to, you know? Yeah. Yeah, so I would say keep at it, keep doing it. Instead of being result orientated, I want to feel my skeleton, be process oriented. Trust in the process. I always say it's not like a religion, or it's not like that where you have to put faith or blind faith, but it's sort of in the beginning, trust the teacher, trust the teaching, and just go, okay, if nothing else, I'm gonna try and prove it wrong. I'm gonna try and really put in the work and prove that after 6 months, there is no such thing as Nim Lik or controlling of it. And after you do that, if you really put in the time, you'll start to feel it. you know?
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like how, I teach drums or bass.
Yes.
There's things you just need to constantly practice.
Yeah.
Once you practice, let's say for 6 months, then you start feeling, blues, and I can start playing faster and stuff like that. So I totally understand
Yeah,
what you're...
I think that's the way to do it with every art. You must do it like this. You start from the beginning, you go until you feel it, and once you feel it, you ask a elite athlete or a Picasso or Mozart or whoever. You ask them how you do this. I just do it. You ask Sigong, how do you do that? I'm just doing it. I'm going to grab your head and hit you to the floor. I just think that and I do it. Yeah, but how come I can't do it? And then he'd have to go and think, okay, your joints are locking up. And he came up with all these tools. Elbow force, joint rotation, sing later on, all of this kind of stuff are just tools, but by him going inside his body and going, okay, compared to what they're doing, what am I doing? That's the difference, and then explaining that and trying to backtrack. But actually, I think you don't need to backtrack. If you just believe that in the process, in the form, the way it's been given, try not to, how do I use no effort? This is, actually I've been doing this myself recently. Instead of saying, how do I relax as I go out? My thing now, my method of practice of Siu Nim Tao is, how do I move with my mind? How do I feel my whole body, right? Holistic sensation, and then move with my mind. That's it. How can you move with your mind? What does that mean to you? And don't try to figure out the answer by thinking about it and then try and do it. Really try to do it, to go, how do I move with my mind? Oh, no, I felt that. That was a muscle activation. Then how do I just hang back here and just intend to move and then observe and then explore? That's what Sigong did. Yeah. That's
what you guys mentioned in some of your videos too.
Yeah.
Sigong says he always think about that idea, like how do I do it the most effortless way as possible?
Yeah, and move with the mind. When you ask Ip Man what is Lop Lim, and Ip Man said just keep practicing, you use the mind to move, and what does that even mean,
Yeah, because I watched one of your video, like you said that exact phrase as well, you move with your mind, right? And when I'm practicing, I'm like, how do I do it?
How do I do it?
I kept asking that too. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah. But if you can, the good thing is there was Sigong, right? I mean, you didn't meet him, right?
I didn't get the chance to meet him.
So day in, day out, I could feel what he's doing, and it was even to the end, it was just mind blowing. It's not like once after 5 years, you're like, he's a tank, and every time you feel, you're like, how are you doing that? I can feel what you're sort of doing when he was making it obvious, but how you got that control, So for me, it's lucky that I had that. So I know it's not like I'm shooting blanks and I don't know. I know what the pinnacle is. So that gives me some motivation to keep going, But yeah, if you just go, okay, well, like you said yourself just now, I asked myself, what does that mean? How do I move with mind? That's good. That curious sort of exploring type of mentality is very good for Siu Nim Tao. Yeah. So just keep doing that. Just keep doing it, but don't stop. Keep doing that, and you might, like in my training, man, I've had at least 20, 30, 40 times that I've been there, especially Sigong was so blunt with his teaching. And he'll just, I'll be standing there after 5 hours and he'll be like, and then he'll just look at everyone, and I'm like, I've been there for like 7,000 hours by that time, for years, and I'm working harder than anyone else there. And then he's like, nah, you can't. He can't do it. He can't. Look, watch. He can't do it. Like, feel me. This is how you do it. Like, can you do that? No, you can't do it. Okay, now look into my eyes. And then, now you can do it. See? But that's me doing it. You can't do it by yourself. So there he's just, so it was quite hard. So it's crushing your, and at the same time, some nights, maybe all my friends, all the guys that were training, they all were at a birthday party or they're going out for beers and they asked me, come out. I said, no, Sigong's is on. No, I'm not going anywhere. If he's open, I have to be there. They're like, you're a bit too hectic with your attitude, So on those nights when he would do that, I'd be like, why am I even here? Like, I'm not getting any result from it, and he keeps telling me I can't do it. So what am I actually doing here? But you sort of swallow that, and you go, nah, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna give up, and you just keep going, and then this is the result. After 10, So it's got to be that. And that's why with this kind of kung fu, with the internal kind of stuff, it's a lot. Physical stuff is easy, but when I was doing bodybuilding, running a marathon is not hard, man. Really, you could just push through it, have coffees and go, Physical stuff is not very difficult. It's difficult, but it's not that difficult. Mental stuff is just, because you don't know if you're doing it. Physical stuff you can feel afterwards. You look at your muscles, you're like, yeah, okay, that gives you motivation for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Mental stuff, especially you got someone like Sigong saying, no, he's very direct. it's good. He didn't sugarcoat it, but sometimes I wish he sugarcoated it a little bit. But yeah, so you just got to keep going, man. There's no other way, and that's why only a select few can get to that level.
I'm so thankful you decided to stick through it, you know, during those times when you were about to give up. Or else I wouldn't have you today, right?
Yeah, well, I guess maybe Siegel went through that kind of, I don't know, maybe this is something you have to go through. You have to break your own, break your own internal barriers and your own, you know. But yeah, keep it going, man. Keep it going and keep exploring. You'll find something for sure. No doubt you'll find something if you don't stop. But, you know, you could stop. You could be doing it for 3 years, and then you're like, and then your mates are doing MMA or whatever art or whatever. Even you want to put more time into music or your family, and you're like, I've given it a good go, I'm going to stop. But you could be weeks away from actually attaining something when you stop. You just don't know, right?
Yeah,
so that's why the best thing to do is just, with this kind of practice, put it in your mind, put it into your being that, look, there is no goal, there is no depth that I want to reach, you know. I'm just going to make this just like brushing my teeth or putting clothes on in the morning. I'm going to make this a habit that I'm going to do daily, even if it's 5 minutes, just like having a shower. Just do it like that. And you'll blink, man, because life goes like that. You'll blink, it's been 10 years, 15 years, and you have something very genuine and very unique that other people don't.
And what I think that encourages me sometimes is, you know how when Siu passed away, he was like 84, right?
He was 81.
He was 80 something, right?
Yeah.
And then like for me, I'm only like 31 right now. I still have like 50 years, right? If I just keep doing it for 50 years,
yep,
then I'll at least have something, if not as good as him, right? So I
forget 50 years, man. Do it like if you're doing it properly for 3 or 4 years. As long as, I was talking about this with one of Siegung's senior students he lives in Melbourne, Joe Chan. Yeah, he has actually a good friend of mine, and he comes here every year, and with Chisao, we're talking about it. We always have good discussions about Kung Fu. He's like me, he goes around and plays with all Tai Chi, all different arts, you know. He puts such a test. But we were saying, and one thing we're saying, even if someone has that, you know, continuation and persistence, if the information is not correct, if they don't have the right info, that's why I feel so, I feel sorry for people that put in so much time into it, but and not at the fault of their own or their teacher, they just didn't have the right info out there, you know. So we're so blessed to have met, at least have contact with the right info, you know. And it's not someone just saying, yeah, trust me, you'll do it, and you'll be able to get the result. He could do some hectic stuff, right? That other people, I've never met anyone that can do that, right? So yeah, some people, they don't have the right info. Some people have the right info, but they still don't find it. Like 90-something% of the people in this lineage, right? A lot of my own friends in Oz, or a lot of people that train under Siegel for decades, right? They're still, and that's not to do with them. That's because Siegel didn't know how to teach it until the last decade. Yeah, the last decade, and he says it himself in that DVD. The last decade, especially the last 3 or 4 years, he found the way to systemize it and go, just do this, and then we're doing it, and very quickly we're boom. The ones that are the very select few that are doing it are leveling up, and the seniors that have been doing it for 40 years, they're not improving at all. And it's not just age, like they're in their seat. It's not just age. It's got to do with the method. The method, yeah, and that's thanks to Siegel again. So we're lucky, man. We got access to the right stuff. So just gotta don't stop. Yeah.
Well, that's why I've kept it for like 365 days, right? Almost.
Yeah, very good, man. And by yourself, because I know that's hard to not have a training partner and keep going. I know it's not easy. So well done. You know, kudos.